Hey folks, welcome back to Car Show and Tell. I'm your host, Tim the Toolman. We're back again, No Kill Car Shower. We're going to pick back up where we left off on what I've decided to call Project Plastique. It's our C4 Corvette 1987 C4 Corvette. Some people call it the Plastic Fantastic. Some people say it's named after its preferred method of destruction. I happen to like it. Anyway, where last we left you, we had gotten our rear wheel bearing off and our drum parking brake assembly and backing plate off. That was disassembled. And I had said I'm going to take this in the house, I'm going to clean it up, and then we'll bring it back out here and we'll put it back together. I'd also gotten the wheel well cleaned and wrenched, and well, here, I'll just show you what we're working with. It's a couple of days after, and we've got about an hour of daylight left that I can use. Stop honking. Anyway, got about an hour of daylight, so let's see what else I can get done. Okay, let me turn this around for you. Here we are. Okay, now in the last video, we had cleaned this out really well, scrubbed all the dirt out, but it had left it with sort of an off-white, ashy kind of a look to the plastics. And the surface dries out and oxidizes, and it's not the greatest looking thing. So I've actually gone over it once already with some tire shine. This is some old school tire shine. I think I bought a gallon of it in like 1998, and I'm still using it. It's just in a different spray bottle that was cleaned out, but gone over it once with some tire shine and let it sit for a couple of days, and I'm just going to give it another light going over one more time. Rub it down with a washcloth, fairly clean, not a washcloth, but a fairly clean shop rag. So let me back up here. There we go. Get my tools out of the way. Focus. Up, 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 up. So there we go. Get it in here. Get that out of the way with a fairly clean shop rag. I'm just going to wipe this all down one more time. But the first coat seemed to make a nice improvement in the appearance of the plastic fender liner. And I also took a brush and brushed down like the frame rail area underneath the plastic liner, suspension components, and basically just tried to spread this tire dressing out as well as I possibly could and give these plastics a nice, more even, darker appearance like they might have had when they were brand new. So that's about as well as it's going to look. See if the light will come on. There we go. Nice uniform appearance. And the added benefit of the tire dressing is that hopefully it'll keep any future grime from accumulating in here as easily as it did before. And just wipe down all these other areas here. Just wiped everything kind of with a brush to spread that all out. Give everything a nice uniform coat. You know, whatever. Get everything up. Okay. Got this brake backing plate cleaned and reassembled. Put that back in the car. All right. And when I reassembled this, I left this top adjuster and this spring off so that you can peel these e-brake shoes away from each other far enough to get room to put this bearing in place. Now there's a Teflon washer behind the bearing. Okay, the Teflon washer was cleaned and re-greased, and it has a flare on the inside diameter of the washer. Okay, it's kind of flared or dimpled out, if you will, and that flare you want to be facing the outside edge of the car. You want it to be facing, you know, the outside edge of the wheel that goes on over it. Okay, so you slide that washer over the stub shaft, slide your bearing, hub bearing unit in place, and we can orientate the ears where our bolts belong, where they go. And then I've just run one bolt in through the top from the back side to locate it, and it's not tightened. I just threaded the bolt in part way. I don't want to tighten that one bolt and then risk not being able to thread the other two bolts in where they belong, down here and up here. So that's where we're at. As I said before, the bolts go in from the back side, so it's kind of a pain crawling under there and feeding them around the yoke of the stub shaft and into their respective holes, but it's perfectly it can be done. So I think that's what I'm going to do right now. Pause this, and I'm going to feed those other two bolts in. It's not really possible for me to climb under there and record that happening. You wouldn't see anything really besides some fool crawling around underneath the back end of the car. So here we go. I'm going to pause this and we'll pick back up in a moment. Alright, here we are. I crawled under there, and I got my knuckle to hub bolts torqued, the 3 Torx bolts. The repair manual says between 58 and 72 foot-pound of torque. So I set the torque wrench to 70 and crawled under there, got them tightened down. So we got our axle washer and nut. I'm just going to run these on, backwards. Just going to run these on loose like. And let's see, grab my 36 mil socket. Okay, now get to start putting our brakes together. So I've already set the e-brakes to a spot that'll ensure that they've got good action for the e-brake. Okay, don't want them too tight. You don't want those e-brake shoes to drag on the inside of the rotor, but you don't want them too loose either. You want some good action when you apply the e-brake. Make sure that the vehicle stays secure. It's not going to roll anywhere. And so we got a little bit of a brake upgrade. Some people might not call it a brake upgrade, but it's a little bit. Kind of limited on these older C4s as to what you can do with the brakes. And they changed, the rear brakes changed in '88, and the caliper and e-brake arrangement's completely different. The e-brake mechanism is built right into the rear caliper, and it did away with this additional e-brake. So it's not really a straightforward swap. You have to change the backing plate, caliper, emergency brake cables, and it was a little bit more involved than what I really wanted to get into. So that's what I decided to go with. Bought some power stop discs and pads with the the cross drilling and venting in them. So we'll see how these are going to work out. I'm going to get my rotor slid on over my brake shoes. And then we'll get my caliper bracket here. And get this back together. Bracket bolts. And I'm going to put the top one in first. Slide that into place. Line it up with the bolt. Start this in. There we go. Now the bottom bolt holds your e-brake cable bracket on. Okay. Bracket. There. Alright. A little dirt. So you gotta make sure you slide that through your bracket first and through the backing plate and into the caliper bracket if you can. Get it started. Okay, and I believe these are 18 millimeter. So I'll grab my 18 and tighten these up. You can get a socket on the top one, not so much on the bottom. A little bit more with my fingers. Think like a contortionist. Should have had some gear wrenches. pretty tight. Alright, got my caliper sliders. Already cleaned these off with solvent and a wire brush. And there's the brake pads go with it. Alright, the carbon fiber ceramic type. So, shall see how they work out. Comes with new rubber, little rubber booties. Put these over. That will work. Oh. This is having fun. In place. There we go. Okay. And I have some supplied lubricant. Come on. I'll get the most out of this. We'll lube our pins up pretty well. Oh, one. Share. There. Put our pins back in our caliper bracket. This caliper bracket was already cleaned out too. Looks like that moves really well. Now make sure your caliper slides the way it's meant to. Okay. Now we'll turn, a little wiggle back and forth. Looks good. No binding, nothing. Okay. I have some regular disc brake silicone. Squeeze a little on my finger, and just want to give the bracket a little coat right there where the pad slides upon it. Make sure there's enough there. So, mark out the bolts and our brick pads. The pads, one of these has a little squeal clip, and that side goes towards the rear, towards the piston of the caliper. Brake, wheel cylinder, whatever you want to call it. That one goes on the front. And then we can slide our caliper into place. I've already squeezed the piston in, so now it'll fit. And there's these little tabs, little springs in the top. We gotta make sure that those sit evenly. There's a recess in this caliper. There. There's a recessed area here and here, and that's where those little springs fit into. So you don't want them sitting there crooked. You gotta make sure they're against both of those recesses so that it adds a little bit of downward pressure to the pads. And then line up the caliper and start feeding the bolts in. One. There's two. That takes a 17 mil wrench. And a 17 mil wrench on the caliper slide pins, and a 15 millimeter wrench on the bolt. Okay, or a 15 mil socket rather on the bolt. Come on, count one. And we're back. 15, yes it is. Okay. Oops. Let's do that. Hit the slide pin with your wrench. Tighten the bolt with your ratchet. Back here. Good and tight. Okay. There's that. Now we can test the holding strength of our e-brake. Okay, look at the e-brake yank, and got my big torque wrench, and the spec on the axle nut, I think, something like 151 or 153 to 177 pound-feet. So I'm going to set this for 175. It's climbing. Down. 175 pound-feet. A small extension on here, so I'm not clipping my fender with the torque wrench. Okay. Oops. There we go. There we go. Okay. Nut back. Now we can put in our nut retainer. And this is one of those retainers that if it doesn't line up, you just give it a turn to the next notch. You keep going until you find a spot that looks kind of the best. What do you think about there? Put our cotter pin through the hole. If it'll go. Come on. Okay. There we go. Get the pair of needle nose. Bend the ends over. Come on. Stay. Like so. That looks glorious. I got some bed-in procedures here for these pads. Whatever bed-in procedures that the pad manufacturer recommends, follow the instructions first time you drive the car. Okay? So I'm going to hang on to this. Just gonna tear that off so I can save it, throw the box away. Recycle all the cardboard. There we go. Now, there we are. Put that up, throw this away. Get our wheel. Get that hub wiped out real quick. Okay. This is fun. blocks are in the way. For dirt. Yeah, dummy. Alright. Let me put this thing back up on the jack. Give me a moment. Okay. Let me grab them. I've got some plastic caps. There you go. Hello.
Oh, you're not on. You got it going. Did it go okay?
Yeah, so far.
That's nice.
These Torx bolts are a bit of a pain. Trying to crawl under there and do that.
Okay. Hey, can I go to the park for a little bit?
You got any homework to do?
No, I just completed it. I just got the rest done.
No missing assignments?
Nothing that I can make up so far.
Nothing that you can make up. That implies that you're already missing assignments this quarter.
Yeah, but nothing that I can make up. Or you mean from last quarter?
No.
Out of this quarter, I don't have any missing assignments. No.
Okay.
I can?
I'm debating. I don't know. It's really not fair for me to let you go to the park if I didn't let your brother go to.
Well,
Play with Nick.
He keeps spending money on for some reason.
Yeah. Hold on.
It's 5:30 right now. Can I come back at like maybe 6:30?
If your brother'd like to go to the park with you, he may go.
Okay.
Go let him know. Okay. Turn my torque wrench down to 100 pound-feet for the lug nuts. And an extension again.
These guys I didn't want to go.
Okay.
So I can go?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
And crisscross applesauce for lug nuts. I like to double check them one more time. Come on. All right. Last step. After you take your lug nut key off, if it'll come off, I'll take that off later. Last step, put your plastic caps over your lug nuts. And I'm missing my center cap. I have some in the car, so I'm gonna pop one of those on. I'll lay it down off the jack. And that'll be that. Oh, so there you have it. Wheel hubs and rear brakes on a C4 Corvette. And that's it, folks. Finally done. I can get this car down off the jack and enjoy it. Alright guys, well, let me know what you think in the comments. If there's a better way, drop me a line, let me know. If this is your first venture into C4 Corvettes and you were learning something today, and let me know what you think of that too. Alright guys, hope you learned something, what to do or what not to do. This has been Car Show and Tell. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, subscribe if you like, or not. It's a free country. Alright guys, take care. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.